In the year 1492, Spain was teetering on the edge of uncertainty. The Assassin Brotherhood, a clandestine order, was steeped in secrecy and driven by their eternal mission to bring balance to the world, to fight against tyranny, and to prevent the abuse of power. But there was a new threat on the horizon that could alter everything they stood for. News had reached them that the son of the Sultan, a figure of immense importance, might soon be kidnapped. The consequence of this event was terrifying. If successful, the Sultan would be coerced into handing over the Apple of Eden, a legendary artifact imbued with dangerous, almost godlike power. To combat this looming crisis, a fresh face was introduced to the Brotherhood, a young recruit named Aguilar. He was eager but untested, his eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. In his initiation ceremony, his finger was severed as a brutal yet symbolic act of loyalty, marking his entry into a world of shadows and bloodshed. Fast forward to the year 1986. Baja California, a sun-soaked land of sprawling landscapes, is home to a young boy named Cal. His world is a playground of daring escapades, none more dangerous than his favorite pastime, riding his bike across rooftops. His adrenaline-fueled stunt ends in disaster as he misses his mark and crashes hard onto the ground. Bloodied and battered, Cal's youthful thrill quickly turns into dread when he returns home, only to find something far worse awaiting him. His mother, lifeless and cold, her body still clutching a necklace she wore since childhood, lay in a pool of blood. The most shocking realization follows. Cal's father, Joseph, was responsible for her death. Before Cal can comprehend the horror of this revelation, a group of men, led by a figure named Rickon, approach their home. Joseph orders Cal to flee, but there is no time to argue. In a desperate escape, Cal clambers onto the rooftops, running faster than he ever thought possible as the men chase him, his heart pounding in his chest. Decades pass, and Cal's life takes a dark turn. Now an adult, he finds himself confined in a Texas prison cell, a convicted murderer who has no recollection of what happened after he ran from that fateful night. On the eve of his execution, there is no celebration for the man who once was full of life. Strapped to a cold metallic table, Cal feels the sting of the lethal injection, and as his vision fades, he is certain death has come for him. Yet, death does not arrive as expected. Instead, Cal awakens in an unfamiliar sterile room, his body weak from the failed execution. Standing before him is Sophia, a mysterious woman who explains that the world believes Cal is dead, but in truth, he has been brought to a place called the Abstergo Foundation, a secretive institution with a powerful agenda. Sophia tells Cal they need his help for a special project, but her words only deepen his mistrust. He attempts to escape, only to find his body too frail and disoriented to make it far. The building he stumbles through is unlike anything he has seen before, filled with strange technology, plants, and people who seem just as lost as he feels. Eventually, he finds himself on a balcony, looking out over an unfamiliar city. Sophia catches up to him, her calm demeanor unnerving. She reveals that he is in Madrid, Spain, and that Abstergo is an organization with lofty goals, primarily to eliminate violence from the world. Before Cal can process what he's been told, the security forces arrive, grabbing him and dragging him to a dark, empty room. In this chamber, strange devices are strapped to his body: hidden blades, a specialized belt, and a machine called the Animus. Cal's neck is connected to the Animus, and as the machine powers on, he is filled with a terrible, searing pain. Sophia explains that the Animus will allow Cal to relive the memories of his ancestor, Aguilar, a man who lived over 500 years ago, whose bloodline runs through Cal's veins. As the machine activates, Cal's vision goes blank, only to be replaced by the vivid sights and sounds of 15th century Spain. He is no longer himself, but Aguilar, an assassin in the midst of a desperate mission to rescue the Sultan's kidnapped son. As Aguilar, Cal sees the young prince, Ahmed, trapped in a cage surrounded by Templar guards. The Templars are about to execute a man who had been protecting Ahmed, and Aguilar can't stand by. In an instant, he leaps from the shadows, striking with lethal precision, and the fight begins. Cal feels everything, each movement, each strike, as if his body is caught in the crossfire. He is not an observer, but an active participant, reliving the battle through the eyes of his ancestor. Maria, another assassin, manages to steal the carriage that holds Ahmed and races off, hoping to escape the Templar forces in pursuit. Aguilar, refusing to leave her side, mounts a horse and chases after her. The pursuit is fast and chaotic, with each moment more desperate than the last. Templars try to board the carriage, only to be thrown off by Maria's swift strikes. The chase culminates in a crash. Maria barely clings to the cart as it teeters on the edge of a cliff. With no time to waste, Aguilar frees Ahmed from his cage, and Maria, in a last-ditch effort, unhooks the horses, causing the cart to fall. Aguilar, holding on by a thread, narrowly avoids certain death, grabbing onto the edge of the cliff by a rope. Back in the real world, Cal begins to lose control. The technicians quickly pull him out of the Animus. Back in his cell, Cal is haunted by hallucinations of Aguilar. When Sophia visits Cal, he angrily grabs her, demanding answers. She explains that this effect is called the bleeding effect. It's a side effect of reliving genetic memories. The experiences of his ancestors are bleeding into his own mind. Cal reluctantly lets Sophia go and listens as she explains more about the Animus. It's a machine that connects people to their ancestors' memories through DNA. Sophia shows him a lab, where they've been studying him for years. They tracked him down because of his connection to Aguilar. She also reveals that all the test subjects at Abstergo are descendants of assassins and share a violent history. Cal pushes back, saying he's not violent for no reason. He only killed someone because they were hurting others. Sophia assures Cal that once the project is done, he'll be free to start a new life. But Cal remains suspicious. At lunch, Cal sits with the other test subjects, who eye him with suspicion. Musa, one of them, warns him not to aid the Templars. The apple must be protected, not surrendered. Cal dismisses the warning, but can't escape the haunting memories of his mother's death. The visions of Aguilar intensify, leading him to question his own grip on reality. Rickon, desperate for progress, pushes Sophia to place Cal back in the Animus. Though Sophia fears it might harm him, Rickon is insistent. Back in his cell, Cal experiences another vision of Aguilar. This time, he reflexively mirrors Aguilar's combat moves, defending himself against the phantom figure. When two guards arrive, Cal uses his newfound skills to fight them off, only to be overpowered and dragged back to the Animus. The machine connects him to another memory, one where Aguilar, Maria, and their mentor are chained in a cell, awaiting execution at the hands of the Templars. In the real world, Cal feels every blow Aguilar takes. The Templars burn their mentor alive, while Aguilar struggles against his chains. At last, he breaks free, skillfully overpowering the guards. He frees Maria, and together they fight their way through the enemy ranks. Then, they ignite barrels of oil, creating an explosion that buys them enough time to flee. The Templars are quick to react, chasing after them. Aguilar and Maria race across rooftops, with the sound of pursuing guards not far behind. They fight fiercely, Aguilar tossing a guard off a building, while Maria defends herself with quick, deadly strikes. They work together, leaping over walls and dodging arrows. But there's no easy escape. More Templars flood the area, trapping them. Aguilar fights with precision, Maria using her agility to fend off attackers. Despite their best efforts, the enemies keep coming. The only option left is to run. Their every move is mirrored by Cal, reliving their escape through the Animus. After a desperate climb to a higher structure, Aguilar sees an opening and takes a deep breath before leaping into the air, a daring leap of faith. At the same moment, Cal attempts the same jump within the Animus, but something goes wrong. His body trembles violently as the system desynchronizes, forcing the medical team into action. They immerse him in a recovery pool, calming his panic. Sophia reassures him that his condition is temporary, and that entering the Animus voluntarily would avoid such issues in the future. Later, as Cal sits in a wheelchair, Sophia reveals something surprising. Rickon has recovered Cal's mother's necklace from their old house. The gesture stirs long-buried memories. Determined to move forward, Cal starts practicing Aguilar's moves, his body slowly regaining strength. But Rickon grows concerned about Cal's progress. He warns Cal of the consequences for resisting the project. To drive his point home, Rickon shows him the fate of other test subjects who refuse to connect willingly with the Animus, sick, broken, or mentally unstable. Rickon also brings another shock. The blade his father used to kill Cal's mother. He leaves it with Cal, hoping to manipulate him emotionally. Fueled by rage and the need for answers, Cal confronts his father, Joseph. The man he finds is no longer the powerful assassin, but an old, frail shell of his former self. Cal demands the truth. Joseph, burdened with guilt, explains that killing Cal's mother was her wish. She had wanted to protect the assassins from the Templars and avoid being used in the Animus. Joseph confesses he couldn't bring himself to kill Cal as well. With the truth revealed, Cal returns the necklace and the blade. He chooses not to seek revenge but to leave. However, on his way out, other test subjects, confused and angry, attack him, seeing him as a threat. Cal fights back, holding his ground until guards intervene. Cal enters the Animus again, this time willingly, connecting to the memories of Aguilar. In this new memory, Maria gives Aguilar the necklace, symbolizing trust and hope. Aguilar manages to steal the Apple of Eden, but the victory comes at a terrible cost. The Templar commander captures Maria and uses her as leverage. Maria, ever loyal to the assassin cause, urges Aguilar to complete the mission. But Aguilar hesitates, his love for Maria clouding his judgment. Maria, determined to keep the apple out of Templar hands, forces the commander to move his blade. She dies in the struggle, her body falling to the ground. Filled with grief and fury, Aguilar attacks the commander, eventually emerging victorious. He escapes through a tunnel, setting fire to the entrance to block the Templars. His path leads him to a bridge, where more soldiers await with crossbows drawn. Refusing to surrender, Aguilar leaps once again, performing another leap of faith into the waters below. In the present, Cal experienced the same leap in the Animus. The machine broke down from the strain, but Cal was unharmed. Memories swirled around him, revealing that Aguilar had entrusted the apple to Christopher Columbus for safekeeping. Meanwhile, back at the facility, chaos erupted. Musa, another test subject, used stolen smoke bombs to create confusion. The test subjects fought back against their captors, seizing the chance to escape. As alarms blared, Cal was surrounded by visions of assassins from the past: Aguilar, Joseph, and even his mother. They reassured him, reminding him he wasn't alone. The ghosts vanished, and Cal joined the others in their fight. Together, they armed themselves with ancient assassin weapons, breaking through the final barriers. In the chaos, Rickon and Sophia fled the facility in a helicopter. Sophia, torn between her loyalty to her father and her growing doubts about the Templars, hesitated. She saw Cal enter the building, but chose not to warn anyone. As Rickon proudly displayed the apple during a grand celebration, Cal struck. Moving swiftly, he killed Rickon and replaced the apple with an ordinary one. Panic erupted as the assassins blended into the fleeing crowd. At the end, we see the assassins standing atop a building, watching over the city. The apple artifact was now in their hands. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.